Question I get a lot is, how do you take your 4 or 5 dart sloper and turn it into a 2 dart sloper? So I'm going to show you a couple different options here. And this is my sloper that I've created with the GRD method from the Making a Moulage course. You can see that all of those dart depths are quite different, and that's because the GRD method gives you customized dart depths based on your body measurements. It's different from any other moulage method out there. And so you can see my sloper here. It includes the bottom portion, which is great because you can use this for dresses too. It's not just the bodice. And what we can do is we can cut out those darts. You can see I haven't cut out that center front dart because generally that center front dart is used for really tight dresses or wrap dresses so that we don't get gaping. And for this tutorial, I'm just going to show you with the 4 darts here, and we would ignore this for standard dresses. So let's go ahead and look at this. I have now cut out those darts. I've added a piece of tape on both sides so that it's not sticky. And then I marked on it with a little X or a little cross to indicate where my join would be, because I'm gonna cut this apart. So let's turn it into a 2 dart sloper. Generally, I would take this armhole dart, cut down that tape just to get a visual, cut all the way down to that apex. I've taped the apex just for a little bit more support. Then I'm going to also cut down that shoulder dart. So let's cut down the center. And I like to cut down the center so that I have that line to match those back up, because I just really reuse this same sloper over and over again with this taping method. As far as I know, I haven't seen anyone else use this taping method before. It's something I've created on my own, and I really find it helpful to visualize those darts. So now you can see we can move those around, right? So first we can close that top one, and you can see we have a little bit of a gap here. That's gonna be okay. It's just gonna add a little bit more wearing ease. If we didn't want that gap there, we can also close it up a bit more, have a little overlap, but we'd have to take that off the back as well. We could also take that little bit off of the across front area at the armhole if we wanted to. So dart number 1 is closed. That's the shoulder dart. To now close this armhole dart and open these up, we're going to also have to open this up, and you just kind of cut along there. And I like this method because it really gives that visual look. So we can see now by closing this armhole dart, we're going to get bigger dart depths over here. Actually, I have to cut this all the way to the apex. So I'm going to close up that armhole dart, just tape it. And now we have a 2 dart sloper. So we have 1 and 2. Now what do we do with that bottom portion? That's kind of the next question that a lot of people ask me. We have to do 2 things if we don't have a waist seam right there. Of course, we can always move that waist seam up and give and take to make an Empower waistline, or adjust that if we want. But if we had no seam here, we have to make this dart and this seam match up with the top portion, right? So what we're going to do is cut along that dart, and we have to cut all the way up to the tip of that dart to get a pivot point there. So we can also open up that dart so it matches with this other dart of the waist area. So now you're seeing this gap right here. If we had no waist seam, we're basically going over that, aligning that completely, and that is our pattern. So that is our adjusted moulage pattern that we turned it into a sloper in the course, and it's now a 2 dart sloper. If you are a student, you've already gotten a tutorial about this as a bonus in one of the Zoom call meetings, and you can always refer back to that bonus. The Making a Moulage course with the GRD method is coming soon, and enrollment will be opening up. In that course, we're going to make a moulage, we're going to add ease to it to create a sloper, and that is going to be your solid foundation to design and create the clothes of your dreams.